Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here with Jonathan to talk the amazing race. How are you doing today, Jonathan?
Back again. I'm doing
Back,
great.
back again. So the wrong episode title? No, I don't. I wrote down one thing, but then I wrote down another thing here. In the belly of the earth makes sense to me, but then I wrote down in my notes, Sword of Damocles.
In the belly of the earth, I think is the.
What does it say
Oh,
on Bell? But anyways, how did you enjoy this episode?
good. I know we'll get there, but finally lose another one of my teams.
Ah,
You know what? Overall, without again ruining anything, if anyone hasn't seen it yet, I definitely think your one remaining team has longevity in the game. I feel like the edit. You know what I mean? I've said it
making
before,
it to
but
the final three.
yeah, yeah. I'm more certain now than I feel like I ever was before.
Ooh, just because, like, oh, you think that they're out, but they're not out,
They
kind of
just
vibe.
keep painting them this picture, and they do kill it at at certain challenges, and they beat people in sometimes even in driving if they're not getting lost. But
Mm,
it's just, yeah, I just feel like they keep focusing on them as a
powerful team.
failing pair, but
Oh,
then
and
yet
then
they
overcoming.
overcoming, right, and it keeps happening. So hi, Glenda.
Hi, Glenda. Thank you for being here. Okay, so they started off at Dragon Bride Bridge in Slovenia. John and Greg are leaving in first place at 9:56 a.m. And their route info says that they're going to travel on foot to the Congress Square and they get £0 for this leg. Now, why do you think that they sometimes tell us how much money they make or that they're getting, and then they tell us when they get nothing, but then sometimes they don't tell us at all. And then for years they didn't tell us at all, but then they used to tell us all the time. I'm like, what's going on here with the money?
Yeah, so it's a big note kind of that they didn't get anything, and I'm like, waiting for that to come into play this episode, and I don't know that I caught on to that. So I'm wondering if any viewers felt like they knew why, because I was waiting for the moment where like, oh, they could have used the money towards this, but then they didn't, and it just I
Exactly.
didn't see it, so I don't know.
Didn't make any sense to me. Like maybe it's gonna come into play in a future episode, but like,
Maybe.
why tell us that they have no money for this leg of the race if they don't need to have any money for this leg of the race?
Yeah, because it's been a while since I've talked about this, but it's like, are they still where it's cumulative? Like, do they still have like what they've had from
Yeah.
previous legs, and then
hmm
they
I would
yeah.
assume so. Anyways, they didn't say that like you had to give all your money back in at the end. I think you actually even get to take it home with you.
Yeah, so maybe there's a team that just doesn't have money in a leg or two that needs it. So I don't know. Maybe how they used to have those taxi situations where they don't have enough, and then they're like fighting with the taxi driver. You said so I don't know. Maybe that
Well,
happened.
maybe it's actually to force them to go on foot
Perhaps,
potentially.
yeah.
Because like it does say travel on foot, you're getting no money, and so maybe it's so people don't make the mistake of taking a taxi.
But then, like, for it to show it to us, I mean, maybe someone makes a mistake. I just feel like there was something coming, and it just hasn't happened. So maybe it's still to come.
Still to come. Oh my god, Jonathan, there's flurries outside.
Yeah, I see it outside mine. You can see it here too, but it's not picking up on camera. It's
Oh
like
my god.
thick snowflakes.
They're big flurries. Is it over?
Yeah.
I'm not I mean, snow is fine, but like it's just gonna be winter for so long. Boo, boo,
For
boo,
me,
boo.
it's about putting on the boots on the dog when the salt comes out. You know what I mean? It just takes so much effort walking the dog at that point. I'm like, let's put your boots on. All right, here
He's
we
just like,
go.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. It's flurries right now, Glenda. This is probably the first, maybe there was flurries another day a little while ago, but I didn't see them. But this is the first time I'm literally seeing snowflakes. Like I don't think it's gonna stick to the ground, but there's a lot of them. All right, then Todd and Ashley are leaving at 9:57. So we saw that they were really close when they got to the mat, and so leaving a minute apart makes total sense. And the roadblock is who can deliver the goods. So who could deliver the goods, Jonathan? Me or you?
Um,
So if you
I
remember,
don't
this
know.
task is
I would,
basically, I don't remember what it's called. They're putting on that like wooden backpack type thing to go navigate
in,
through the town and collect utensils, wooden utensils, place it in the exact same position it is on the example onto their wooden backpack thingamajig, and then they have to bring it without losing anything to the judges.
yeah, I feel like I don't know that it was like heavy. Just people were just concerned with losing stuff, and Annalise seems kind of smaller, and she handled it just fine. So I don't. I think either of us could have done it. I mean, it's just like a attention to detail. Only one team messed up. So yeah, I didn't think it was that difficult, nor did I think that really just for the one team who messed up is and that's kind of was their downfall for the whole leg, essentially, the start of it.
So I think that we'll give you this one just in case
Sure.
another one is like a heights thing that
Yes,
like
yeah,
I would have to do. So like
yeah. I would be that person where you're like, oh, you can do this one because it's not such and such. You know what I mean? So give Jonathan all the ones that, yeah, exactly,
just in case like we need to have like a heights thing or
yeah.
something, we'll just get your roadblock um activities out of the way. All right, so John is going to be doing the roadblock, and apparently Todd is better than directions than Ashley, or is he? As we soon have to discuss. So leaving at 10:07 is Rob and Corey. And did you see online by any chance? Rob and Corey had their audition video for The Amazing Race.
No,
Ooh, should we watch it?
I haven't seen it.
It's kind of. I mean, yeah. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Because I know that they're your favorite, and I know that you.
They are my favorite, and they have this knack of scaring the bejesus out of me because they're like they do well and they just show up, and then like I think they even mentioned on this like they just like show up out of nowhere. A couple of the teams are mentioning, but also they falter at certain times. And yeah, it's a roller coaster watching that an episode.
Okay,
But I
that
have
would
not
be.
seen their audition video yet, so that'd
Hold
be
on.
interesting.
Okay. Um, let's just get this going. And coming from a casting perspective, I want to know if you would cast them. I mean, I'm sure you would, but from this video.
Might be biased, but yeah.
Volume. Because I don't want to get flagged by The Amazing Race.
Both got haircuts for the race, I see.
Cute.
That's like kind of how they are in the race, though. Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't watch the whole thing, so hopefully don't use the music the whole time. Oh, wow. He looks hunky here.
The longer hair, yeah.
My name is Corey MacArthur,
And
and
the facial hair.
which stands for Child of Deaf Adult. Both my parents are deaf. I'm 25 years old, and I live in New York City.
Maybe I could set him up with my sister.
I want to go on The Amazing Race because I think it would be such an incredible experience to share with my dad. My dad has been my best friend my entire life.
Oh, he looks like
Everything
his
that I
dad
do
when
with
his dad was
sports.
younger.
We played video games growing up together. And I also, more importantly, think it would be such an amazing experience for him to show the world what deaf people are capable of. I think he would be such a great role model for people to watch as he navigates complex scenarios in different countries, not caring about the language barrier and fighting his way through to win the Amazing Race.
I hope this is Muzak and it's not like a real song.
Feels like it is, yeah. Muzak.
I would be a great contestant on The Amazing Race because I'm very well traveled, studied 4 different languages throughout my entire life, and I'm a very good problem solver. My multicultural background, people skills, and ability to navigate the world will absolutely make me a threat to win The Amazing Race.
Okay, we don't need music.
So he's from New York, and where's Rob from? Like living in? They
I
don't live
don't
at the same
know
place, I
where
guess.
they're living. Did it say?
No, I wonder what his profession is, Corey's profession, or like what he's trying to be, or whatever. He could be an
Studying.
actor or
So
something.
cute.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, obviously, God, times too handsome
We
Corey.
agreed, Luciana. Corey looked very cute with that longer hair.
I think it's a combination. I mean, no wonder they were cast. I think they're both very likable. I think, we have the good looks check. We have the great story that they wanted to have a diverse story and diverse people from different backgrounds and whatnot. And
a lot of times when people are super good looking, they're not followed with like a really being super kind, and like, so he exudes warmth, caring, kindness, consideration. Like he just really exudes that. And I think that it's not usual that someone's that kind when they're that good looking,
Yeah. And I think that's based on his, usually when someone experiences something, that's not normal in the sense of like not everyone experiences it and it's more rare. I do feel like people are more attuned to kindness, grace,
compassion,
things like that, compassion, empathy. Yeah. So
I thought it was a good video. I would cast them from that video. Like I'd at least be calling them back to see them again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now if I want to get hypercritical, the only thing I would cut if someone was asking me would probably be like the Rob skateboard story down a big hill. Unless you were going to show me the hill or something like revisit
or skateboarding now.
Yeah, something like that. I'd probably have just like cut that and just say like I'm adventurous. I like to do dangerous things and like leave it at that. But other than that, I think it was pretty polished for an audition video. Yes.
Pretty polished. Okay, so speaking of Rob and Corey, they're leaving at 10:07, and they just want to survive the leg. They do not want to have to use their express pass. And Rob is going to be doing this roadblock. So kind of like you and I, some tasks would be easier for Corey to maneuver, and so this one. Wait, no, Corey's doing the task. Sorry. I think it would be easier for Corey to maneuver this one in case they have to ask a lot for directions and stuff like that. And so they're using Corey for this task rather than Rob.
Now, don't you hate when they always say that? And it's a team that you like. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna have to use it because they've mentioned that they don't want to use the express pass. I was like, the whole time, I'm like, they're gonna have to use it. Or even worse, they're gonna use it when they don't have to, but they think they have to.
Mm-hmm.
So I was concerned right from there. I was like, oh, don't show me that. Don't.
So we see John and Todd both working at the roadblock at the same time, putting all the utensils on. It doesn't seem like it's that difficult. There's 12 utensil pieces, 12 spaces to put them on, but it just seems like it's really light and just a little bit cumbersome. And so it's not like securely fastened to this contraption.
Well, some were like hooked on, placed on like a Christmas tree. Others were like tied with like the thinnest of, I think what they're
dental floss.
Yeah, I think they were hoping for like what happened with Corey, like one would fall off and a team wouldn't notice necessarily. You know what I mean? You wouldn't hear it or notice it, and then you would just go and be like, "Where's this part?" I feel like if with how they were set it up and how the challenge is, I feel like they were hoping maybe for that drama, but it didn't really happen other than someone left something at the start. But
Well, and she also did something fell and that little ball thing went rolling. But she was able
yeah,
to retrieve.
she saw it.
She had trouble.
I mean, we had multiple people's fell apart, so yeah.
I thought it was really funny though, John, like just like wanting to run. And most teams had this experience. They want to run, but they can't. So he's like, "Oh, it's the
Power
amazing
walking.
walk."
At those walking shoulders and arms
Do
going.
they still do that at the mall?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like I see people do that all the time. No matter where you are, city, suburb, you'll have someone power walking somewhere.
Well, I remember when I was younger and I worked in a mall, on like 9 a.m. Sunday mornings, they'd have like all these older people that would be
Mhm.
doing laps around the mall, power
Like
walks.
like a visor, fanny pack,
Got
short
it.
shorts, and like
That's it.
they're like basically like floating above the floor because all that moves is this.
That's the Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just remember that they're just going around the mall, like, oh, they're here again, just doing their walking. Uh,
Stay
so
healthy.
John does finish this the roadblock first, and well, he gets all this stuff on and he starts walking around, he gets directions, and someone says that where he needs to go is in Germany. And I was like, that guy, is he sabotaging? Did he make an error? What do you think happened there?
Well, I think that's why his face was blurred out because I was like, they probably tried to get him to sign that waiver, and it was like, was I right about the location? They're like, um, yeah, I just he was so certain, wasn't he? Like,
But like, was he certainly just trying to send him in the wrong direction? Be like, ha ha.
I don't know. I sometimes people just, have you ever done that? Like, I don't think I look like a person who you would approach outside and be like, ask for directions, but it happens weekly. And
Yeah, it happens to me. Anytime I go outside, I get asked for
yeah,
directions.
and I always am like really like I take moments because I dread that I will give them the wrong directions. But if I wasn't thinking or if I wasn't so anxious as a person, I probably could have happened a few times. But I'm just like, wait, okay, let me think this through. Even though I know where it is, but I'm just like, So I don't know. Maybe he just thought it was something else, or I don't know that he was like playing
Sabotaging.
with them or sabotage. But you never know. You
Yeah,
never know.
John's like,
He's like,
okay, thanks, bud.
that's impossible. I'm like, okay.
The other day, like a couple days ago, I was at DuPont Station, which you would know where that is, and he was asking me how to get to like no, not even college, Carlton and something. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're not even in the same, like, I'm literally gonna have to give you directions, and he wants to take them subway. Like, it's like, I'm just like, what? So I'm like, well, get on this subway. And I'm like, okay, maybe you shouldn't transfer. So just go all the way around, get off at college, and then take the streetcar eastbound because college turns into Carlton at Young
Awesome.
Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if he understood that, but I'm like, try that. Like, I don't know. It was such a complicated, like, why are you at DuPont trying to get to Carlton? It was just so far away for him to be asking for directions. Like, he should know how to get closer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I normally get just like, where's Front Street or where's, Young Street is a couple streets over. So I don't get those complicated ones. I'd be panicked.
Other
I'd be
side
like,
of the cap.
I'd be like,
City.
pull it up on your phone. Okay. Like, do you
Right?
not have like Google Maps?
Like, where are you trying to go? Why are you here? Are you lost?
Call an
Clearly.
Uber.
Or ask the person in the booth.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the dude says the wrong location, and finally he is able to see the judges. So maybe that square said like Germany Square or something, and he was like, it's in Germany. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out why he would just try to steer him in the wrong direction. It's obvious with the camera crew he's not in the wrong country.
Yeah, exactly.
Obvious. Leaving at 10:29 is Joel and Garrett. And so now the next place that they're going to be is 8,000 caves, and this is where the dragons lived. It's called Pivkajama. Have you ever seen any caves like this?
No, I don't know that I've experienced going into caves. I went down a big cave in the UK. Don't know what it's called. It was years ago. It's famous. You have to go down this whole like mine. I think it's a mining cave though, but it was like this lift elevator thing. But other than that, I haven't really been in any like super cool. I mean, I liked it. Like it looks great.
So John and Greg reconnect after finishing the roadblock, and they're going to be traveling to Pivkajama to explore the caves to find the clue, and they're going to have to drive there. So they have to go find their car, which is, I mean, things did seem a little bit complicated because I'm like, did they park their car before? I don't remember. Did they?
Oh, I don't know.
I was like, where'd they get their cars from? Are these new cars?
I think they're in. Yeah, I
Is that
think
the
they're new.
car
I
from
think they're
when?
in,
Oh, it's a car
they're
from when
new.
they parked to go to the bridge,
Oh, maybe.
right? But it's just, anyways, it's a little bit complicated.
It was complicated. Yeah, the cars seem to pop up this episode a little bit, and you're like, okay, I guess we're skipping that.
So Todd is now on his way to try to find the judges. He also has the urge to run. We see Corey walking by Joel getting directions because Corey's now made it to get the utensils, or he's on the way to the utensils. I wish that they'd showed that, like timing of that a little bit better, because I thought it was amazing where Corey's just trying to sneak by Joel. And like Joel doesn't, he's like, I haven't seen any teens yet. I'm like, I actually really love that. And so I would love to see more like an aerial view, or like they're over here and on a map or stuff like that. Like I do like seeing the proximity. I think it's very fun. So at 10:38, we see Robin and Chelsea leaving, and then Anna Lee and Steve leaving at 10:42. So they're actually not that far behind, like less than an hour behind the front team.
Yeah, I paid attention this time to the departures, and I was like, oh, I noticed that too. I'm like, it's under like 50 minutes or something. So
Not too bad.
pretty tight. Now I was like, with the tasks that they seem to be doing as well, I feel like if a team falls behind just even 10 minutes, it could be very detrimental. So
Now it's tight.
Yeah.
Wait. So Chelsea is going to be the one that's doing the roadblock. And then we see Todd getting checked for the goods. He is good. He's able to go back and meet Ashley. Now, with Chelsea doing this roadblock, I was already like, Chelsea doesn't like the Amazing Race.
Yeah,
Like,
this is not a good idea. You're not ahead. You need Robin who wants this, who needs to like push it. Chelsea's like dreading the whole thing, and it's just not a good attitude to go into any challenge with, especially this roadblock. But yeah, I was very concerned.
So Joel is over working on placing the items on the backpack thingamajig. Then Chelsea shows up, Joel leaves, and then Annalie shows up and joins. So like people seem to be catching up because Joel was still about a little bit less than 15 minutes ahead of them. Well, like between 9 and 12 minutes or so. And so like they're all equalizing here. And so that 10-minute lead or whatever is already distinguished.
Yeah, I would say the biggest like jump, even though it's all still tight, but even like, if you're a couple minutes behind and then you get 6 minutes ahead, that's a big jump in this leg. And I feel like Anna Lee and her father did the best with making up ground.
Exactly, because Annalie and Chelsea were still at the place in the utensils, and then Annalie was able to leave before Chelsea, and it's like, Chelsea, let's pick it up here. Like, where's the urgency? As we always say, we like seeing people that want it, and they're racing, and she's just a little bit like dum-ba-dum-ba-dum.
Yeah, I think she said she got into her head when a bit into her head during it, or I don't know when she saw Annalie or something, but I'm like, I feel like you've been in your head for the last like 5 legs. Like
You've been in your head since you started the race.
Yeah.
Seriously. So Annalie's items keep on falling off. And so that was one of the fears of the earlier teams, is like, we don't want anything to fall off. I think it was John, because he might not remember where to put it back on, and he doesn't want to have to go back to look at the example to put these items back on. So that's why he was walking super slowly so that no items would fall off. Chelsea does end up catching up to her when she sees that Annalie's items are falling, but then in turn, her items stop falling. We have one of her items start rolling away. She goes and grabs it, brings it back. Joel delivers his goods and runs past Annalie, and then she does end up getting her clue as well. And so Joel and Annalie get back to their partners. Now, poor Chelsea, she does get to the judges and she is missing what I think was a rolling pin. And I learned that
Mhm.
it was correct. It was the rolling pin that she was missing. She goes back to find it. Would that have been you, Jonathan?
I would not be missing anything. I mean, just count the items, make sure they're there. Just I'd be like, okay, there's like 6 spoons, there's this. I would just
Supposed to be
count them
12
up.
in total, right?
Right.
So,
So I would just be like, okay, boom, we got there, and you know what it is. You know what it is. Just um I wouldn't have left without counting all items, and she clearly left without it being there. So
and it might have been because Annalie left and she probably panicked a bit and been like, okay, I'm done. But I would have taken that extra second to make sure that I had everything on perfectly because I don't want to have to go back.
well, I mean, counting it's what 30 seconds tops, and then just having to go all the way there and then all the way back. It's just worth the 30 seconds, like you said. Yeah.
It wouldn't be even, it'd be 12 seconds. Like, how long does it take you to count to
Well,
12?
for her, like she'd be like stressing about it halfway through the count. I don't
Like
know.
3, 1, 2.
And then she'd be like, I can't do this. And 4, 5. What number am I on? I'll start again.
So, why did I write dad detour? Oh, dad detours. Okay, so Todd and Ashley are having a little bit of trouble in their vehicle, and Todd misses the exit, and the other exit is very, very far away. When they do stop and get directions, they have to go all the way back. And it's a joke apparently with his kids is when he does do this in their regular day in life. They call them dad detours. I would be furious if I were Ashley.
Well, didn't he say later it was like 30 kilometers?
That's an hour. Like 30
That,
and 30 and 30, it's
yeah.
that's an hour.
Yeah, that's a lot. So I mean, I don't, and maybe he meant like 15 and 15, so equals 30 in total. I don't know because they didn't seem like that far behind, but it did put a damper on things. But I feel like that clip of like someone in the back being like, "Oh, is that it?" as they're passing it. Yep, you should have went there. Is like every leg someone has it, and I'm like, wouldn't you just be like, why if you're about to get off or you're expecting it? Like I drive on highways. You don't. Why are you in the left lane? Like what? Like
No.
like
Like
shouldn't you
if
be in
you
the
know you have
lane?
to exit soon or
Yeah,
you're not sure where you're going to
yeah,
exit, you might have to stay in the slow lane. You
yeah,
just might.
yeah. It's just like you have an idea as to when it's coming up ish. Get in that.
And
Get
like,
into
what
that lane.
about the urgency? Like, if I was go, 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 this to the right. Like, I would at least be doing that and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
hoping to not
Right,
cause an accident.
right,
You'd be like, girl,
right. Well, and if you get off early, you can get right back on. Not sometimes like what happened if you pass it, you can't come back and then swoop around right away. But if you get off early, you can go right back on. So it's just weird. We've seen that clip a million times. I feel like this season where like the sisters had it too, just where you're like they're passing it and they're just like, yeah, that was
But
it.
it's so easy that
Robin
oh,
and
there
Chelsea's
it
had it.
goes. Like
Yeah,
what?
every
I'd be
time.
freaking out.
Yeah.
Freaking out. Would not be super chill at all. So I would have been really frustrated at Todd, and if I was Todd, I'd be really frustrated at Ashley because she didn't make it seem like it was important to get off at that exit, and she made it seem like it was okay for them to miss it.
The only time I would have been frustrated with Todd is when he was
2 chains,
celebrating like he won the race, looking for those
chains.
the ropes or chains, whatever. Yeah, and she was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I would have slapped him if I was her. Like I would have been like, "Get in the boat." It's just that was that was frustrating. I think anything else, I'm like, okay, fine, it's a mistake, whatever. But I mean, they've had a lifetime with each other as well, so good for them.
For making it through. Greg and John get to the caves first, then second place is Rob and Corey, and they're going to be descending deep into the Pivka Jabba and assembling a dragon. So Rob is going to be in charge of the dragon build because he's really good with stuff like this. He can do IKEA furniture without instructions. So Rob is thinking
which
of
I thought so
assembling
fun.
front to back.
I thought that was so funny because like IKEA instructions are notoriously terrible. So it's like you're kind of doing it without the instructions anyway. But
It's like how everybody does it.
yeah.
Sash, I've never really put together that many IKEA things. What about you? Are you an aficionado?
I'm horrible at it. Yeah. So
Oh,
terrible. Like so my one sister, 6 years younger than me, and I was probably about 19, 20, and I bought this, the Billy bookshelves, and I installed it upside down. So I was frustrated. I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm going to do other stuff, and I came back, and she took it apart and did it for me. So
Aw.
and she was like, like 14, 13. I was like, there you go. You're the builder in the family.
What's
Um,
her sign?
she
She's Earth
is
sign.
what's September, early September.
Yeah, Earth sign, Virgo.
Virgo. Both my sisters are Virgos. Yeah. Also,
Okay.
I put these doors in backwards. There's a little cabinet here for my books, and the doors are backwards as well. So I'm really good at not doing well with builds.
Now, okay, so what would this on the race? How would this fare for us?
So for me, I would be like, I had a 3D puzzle when I was in my 20s, and I could not put it together for the life of me. So I'd be like, this isn't it for me. I feel like now that I'm older, maybe I have a different
Maybe
perspective.
you'll have more patience and you'll be more attention to detail.
Right. But yeah, just, I don't know. I don't think it's my strength. Let's put it that way.
Oh. Okay, note to self. So Rob thinks to build from front to back, and Greg is thinking of building from the bottom up. So what do you think your strategy would be?
I think you do build from the bottom up, but you just need to be aware of, how certain larger pieces affect other pieces. I would probably build in sections and then just like try to build it from the bottom up with maybe some pre-established sections if you can. I wasn't able to really grasp, what was working and what wasn't working for people in this, but they got through it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that starting with the feet would probably be good because then you'll have a good base. Maybe somebody else working on, the tail or stuff like that. Like that's going to help balance some of the big pieces and the structural pieces over top. But yeah, I think, bottom up seems to make most sense to me. Agreed.
Yeah.
It seems like Anna Lee has passed Todd and Ashley because they left the roadblock, but they decided to take a literal detour. And so they get to the to build the dragons before them, which is wild. So they're in third place. Joel and Garrett get to the build as well. Finally, Todd and Ashley reach the caves. This is a fall from grace for sure because she's just like, we're like in last place, we suck, like we're so far behind now, and I'm like, that's not gonna help you. You're gonna have to think positively because we saw what it did kind of, I guess, work in the end with Anna Lee, but she was being really negative and like things just kept on not working out for her, and then she did get to stay in the race. But
I didn't think they fell apart as much as Annalie did the last leg, but yeah, they actually kept it together more than I expected them to. So,
so Greg and John are the first to get their dragon checked, but their tail isn't attached. How'd you like the judge here?
I liked. I mean, it was very like, theater Dungeons and Dragons mixed with some like, theater in the park kind of a situation. I was like, okay, what's happening? But yeah, sure. I mean, I would have loved more just visually, just more light on the situation because it was very kind of, darker. Obviously, they're in a cave, but I wanted to like see more of what was going on. But I liked the task. It was just I don't know.
Visually stimulating.
Right. And I don't know if it's one that really holds up people all that much. Like I like tasks that, you do well, you can get like a half-hour jump on someone. And if you don't do well, you can really fall behind. That's what I love. So I just wanted to see maybe like more of that in this particular leg.
Right. Well, you get to see a little bit of Robin and Chelsea going to the completely wrong cave, even though they were on the direction for the correct cave, but they see a campsite for the Pivka Jama, but they think that that's incorrect. Now, what I think is interesting is like they're looking for the words Pivka Jama.
Yeah. Wouldn't you just check it out? You're there.
Yeah, go and check out and see where their, I don't know, box office or, teller is. And maybe ask them because at least they're have the same name. Like be like, you know what? I'm not going to go to where I'm supposed to go. I'm going to go somewhere else and ask where I was supposed to go.
Even though when they went to the somewhere else, I think they were very thorough there, even though the name wasn't there. And I was like, what's happening? 'Cause,
Like,
like, why didn't you check that other place that had the right name? Oh, yeah, okay, that's
I'm not
I'm
gonna
like,
check
bet you
there.
skimmed on by because you're like, "This can't be it," for whatever reason.
Well, because it said campsite. But, like, you'd
You would
think
think
that
you're
if there's a
close.
campsite, it's
You're
gonna be
next
near to where you need to
of
be.
every other team thought it. Yeah, so, yeah, wild to me. I was like, "You guys have I think you've given up." Like, I was
Yeah.
like
Or,
yeah,
like, just choosing to, like, be like, "You know what? Let's try to get out this leg because,
yeah.
like, I'm done." So they do get the direction back to the correct cave that they were already at, that they just didn't explore enough. So, how did you feel about Joel and Garrett's technique to assembling these pieces? They're "Roar!"
Listen, whatever works for you, whatever gets the job done. I mean, overall, I think they pulled it together a little bit because we've seen them make some mistakes and not give up, but just like hold back when they should be pushing forward. And so, whatever gets the job done, I think. I don't know that I see them in the final three, but they're doing pretty good. So
Pretty
and
good.
it's the friendship that works, and I think that's where it fell apart for, like, Robin and Chelsea, was, like, their communication, it just wasn't vibing, whereas, these guys are getting along well and pushing each other in the right direction, and, to me, that is everything for the race, you know what I mean? It's something that you need to bring to support each other and help you get through it.
So John and Greg figured out their error and they reassembled. And so then their dragon puzzle piece master says, "Your job down here is done." And Luciana thinks the judge was a fan of pregnant pauses and loves the drama, but wouldn't love it when racing. Yeah, I was hoping that there was a different line for every team. There's only 2 lines, it seems, that he said. But or it was one long line and they chopped it up. So they get a route info. They're going to Fonda Fish Farm. It's the best farmed fish in the world. Was it the world? I didn't finish writing that stat.
I don't know.
Best farmed fish. We'll just leave it at that. In Europe. Rob and Corey are going to be leaving here in second place. Annaleve and Steve in third. Joel and Garrett in fourth place. And they say to him, "It's good to me." So at the Fonda Fish Farm, I guess is where they're doing the detour, which is either scrape off, where they're using chains to clean barnacles off of 2 rungs, or swap out, where they had to deliver 2 lines of mussels and swap out
Mhm.
some buoys. What would we be doing? Both of them, we'd have to kayak out.
Yeah, I'm good in a kayak, but
So
at
you
the
feel the back?
same time, I would have done the scraping the barnacles off, just because I feel like it's might have required some balance, and just again, I like the tasks that you can just put your energy into and get it done quickly, whereas the other one seemed potentially a little lengthier. They both, I think, were fairly quick, but if you didn't completely mess up like Rob and Corey, but which is like almost like I feel like producers were looking at that and saying, wow, we didn't anticipate people would just completely misread the clue and have to go look for the empty one. But so I would have done the cleaning the barnacles is what I would have preferred, but I've been fine with either or. What about you?
I think the cleaning the barnacles would have been better because, like, I don't know how great I'd be maneuvering those lanes of buoys in a kayak. I'd be annoyed if we flipped over
Yeah.
and like had to get like back in. So, okay, let's go to and from in a kayak, but like I'd rather do this table task as opposed to like maneuvering around in the kayak.
Yeah, there's
For
too
the
many
buoys.
pieces with the kayak. You have to bring the muscles back, all this stuff. It's yeah.
Agreed. So yes, I would do the scrape off detour. So Todd and Ashley are still over at the Dragon, and like it's funny when like personal dynamics come into play. Like you're in a race, just put it aside that you're annoyed with him, because he's like, "Can you go and tell me like what it looks like over here, like what I'm doing wrong?" And she's like, "Well, you're doing it, so why don't you go look and see what you're doing wrong? Because if I tell you what you're doing wrong, you're not gonna believe." I'm just like,
Yeah.
both of you go and look and see what you're doing wrong, or
Yeah.
just actually go and look and see if you see anything while he's still trying to maneuver over here. Like, no need for the lip.
Yeah, I know. It really, but it's those moments that I feel like you're like, fine, we'll lose. Like it's just that momentary kind of moment where you're just willing to give it all up just to tell that person off, or to give that kind of lip back because you're so frustrated. But yeah, the people who are able to either not have that with their partners or just hold it in and bottle it while they're there, will be more successful because every second counts. So yeah.
They do finally complete it though. And so there was definitely a lot more buoys than I was expecting. If I were to read the clue and I saw how many
Oh
buoys
my
there were, I
god.
was like, let's do scrape off because we know where to go. Like, we just have to put some muscle into it, and it seems a little bit less confusing. So Anna Lee and Steve are going to be doing scrape off. I didn't say, but John and Greg did swap out. So did Rob and Corey. But now Rob and Corey, and they were maybe just too excited, but they didn't seem to take the empty buoy that they need to replace the buoy that they pull the muscles up from. And so they're out there, seemingly doing really well, catching up to John and Greg. John and Greg do end up completing it, and then they realize that they did it incorrectly. So now they're going back out to try to find the buoy that they had taken, but they didn't take the
Yeah.
muscles from.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. So they not only didn't switch it out like they were supposed to and take one with them, they didn't get the muscles either. And it's like the moment that you said to me, like, you need to find the original ones that you left and you couldn't just abandon that and move on to something else, I'm like, out of here. We'll go to the
Yep.
next one. Because the next one's right over there. So just like, see ya. I'm like, not going back and wasting yeah, I wouldn't even wasted 5 minutes looking for it, let alone 10, 20
Exactly.
minutes. Like, no.
Mm-mm-mm.
Let my father get out there and like start swimming around, diving, look for. I'd be like, absolutely not. I'm like, what
We
are you
don't
guys
have time
doing?
for this.
Yeah, this is what scares me with them is these. They also had it in the that dart soccer challenge where it's like they're just determined to do this one task that they're at, and you do need to know. And Todd and Ashley had switched, and then had finished before them. You just need to know when, especially if they're right there, right next to each other, when to give up. And that was a big mistake. They needed to move
Yeah,
on a
as
lot.
soon as they made the mistake, they should have just switched.
Yeah.
Because, like, how are you gonna, like, there's so many buoys. If you don't actually remember where you dove before, or like where you got the buoy from,
Yeah.
like, there's no
Like
point in trying
they
to
were
find
looking
it.
for empty spots, but the other, teams were already there and they pulled up some empty spots too. And it's probably hard to tell while you're on the water there anyway. No,
Mm-mm.
no.
So Annalie and Steve are doing scrape off. Joel and Garrett are doing swap out. And we see that Greg and John finished their second buoy. So they are pretty much done here. They get the route info. They're going to Grad Socerb, the pit stop, which is the border between Italy and Slovenia, which was pretty cool. Why did I write Robin and Chelsea? Are they still at, did they finally get to the caves? Is that what I was trying to write?
They're so far behind.
They're so far behind. So as I said, Rob and Corey couldn't find the original buoy, so they decided to finally switch detours. Anna Lee and Steve, who did the scrape off, they're now finishing in second place as Corey and Rob arrive, and they're actually was really friendly with them. They're just like, yeah, we made a mistake, and
Yeah.
so we came over. And Steve and Anna Lee was like giving them tips and like leaning back, and I saw her being
Yeah.
showing the dad like tried like making sure that she was clear and
Yeah.
speaking and enunciating, so like he could read her lips clearly. And so
I was like, okay, Anna Lee, all right, there we go. Like,
yeah, it was nice.
yeah, finally.
So Rob and
Waiting
Corey
long
do
enough.
say again.
I said I was waiting long enough for it to be nice to someone. So
Well, I think she probably got humbled by like the race a little bit, right? And so
in that moment when they're going down the zip line and she thought it was all over, I feel like she's turned a little bit, and it's yeah.
And so Rob and Corey finally finish the swap out or scrape off. Todd and Ashley do see the beards, and they decide to choose scrape off as their what is it, the detour? As their detour. So they get into their kayak and they kayak over to where they do the scrape off, and they can't seem to find their chains. And so they get into the kayak again, and they said it was supposed to be on the platform. So they go to another random platform, and he's looking around this platform, and she's screaming at him, "It's not here, it's not here." And he's just being thorough, looking around. They finally get back into the kayak and had the bright idea to go back to where they got the clue in the first place, or like where they got the kayak in the first place. And lo and behold, the chains were there. Why wouldn't you have checked there first? I'm just curious.
I think they got in their heads with being behind and frazzled from before, and it just snowballed. And so I don't know why you wouldn't check there, and I think at least with her, with Ashley, she wanted to like, well, let's just see if it's over here. And then she got there and she's like, okay, no, it's not. If you can't see it, there's not like a basket there. Forget it. Let's go. And he was the one who was messing around, thoroughly looking like he's at home for something in the backyard. And it's like, get in the boat and go somewhere else.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think though this is a testament to, it's always say read your clue, read your clue, read your clue. But like while you still have your clue, before you go to part 2, make sure you have everything that you need. Be like, okay, do I need anything else from here? You know what I mean? Just like have your tools.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm just
take a
this is me on the
second,
couch.
assess, look around for 10 seconds. But I think you're right. It's easy to say that from home. They get caught up in it, and I think we're frazzled from being behind, and they knew that they were like one of the last teams. So,
well, getting to the pit stop in first place again is my brother-in-laws, John and Greg, each receiving $5,000. They're racking in some good stuff.
yeah. What's the count? I think they were saying, is it their fourth time?
I think it's their fourth.
Something like that.
Good job, boys. Good job. Todd and Ashley do see Corey and Rob leaving the detour. And who said this? Oh, okay. It was Robin saying that the Amazing Race is harder than a natural childbirth. And she did it 4 times. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe you, but because I've seen one person have a natural baby with an epidural, and it did seem terribly painful. So I don't think that this compares, but
here's my take on childbirth, even though I've never had it. I just feel like it's so much trauma that your body, your mind makes you forget that how much trauma it was so that you could have more, you know what I mean? So it's probably been, a second for, and she like hasn't remembered, or you just don't remember it as crazy as it was. But yeah, I've seen people go through hell with that too.
So they finally find the chains. Who says little victories, babe? Is that it's when he was like 2 chains, and she's like, get back in the kayak. She's like, little victories, babe. So getting to the pit stop in second place is Joel and Garrett. How do you feel about the lady touching his beard?
I thought it was like a fun moment. I mean, I don't, people with beards usually don't care. So yeah, it was, but she went back for more, like as they were like cutting away, and she was like leaning in again. So she really liked it.
So Joel and Garrett were better at directions here because Steve and Anna Lee, who left before them, end up coming in third place. Fourth place is Rob and Corey. So not doing that detour correctly costs them at least a spot. And Todd and Ashley finally do finish, scrape off. They get to the mat in 5th place. And so she was saying that all the teams in the front have had their day at the back, and this was theirs. They finish in 5th place almost every leg, so they haven't actually finished any worse. They just are going to start to do better now that there's less people in the race.
Yeah, and now with, as you can assess, we're losing Robin and Chelsea, and I don't think that there are any like teams that you kind of bank on kind of being at the end necessarily. So any mistake can get you out of the race and just in the back of the pack and out of the race. So it's going to be really interesting. I do think anything can happen going forward.
And so Robin and Chelsea, they do swap out, and they decide to go for a little swim because they kind of know that they're in last place here. They do finish the detour, and it's nighttime when they get to the mat, and they are eliminated.
I would love to know the check-in times. We have like checkout times or whatever. Like I always would love to know because I want how late are they? How long did they fall like behind? I get it's nighttime, but sometimes that happens within 30 minutes. The sun goes down. Um, I don't like that they took a little swim because we saw with
That there's a
the
chance.
yeah, there's always a chance that there's someone behind you. You don't know. Just because you've gone to like every clue box and you're the last one there, it doesn't matter. There could have been something that has happened. So
Someone could have like completely went into the wrong direction, went to the
yeah,
wrong
yeah,
country, and yeah,
it-
absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be taking a little swim personally, but that was Chelsea, wasn't it?
yeah, it's just like push to the end. But yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of expecting this. Um, I think
They've
we're
lasted
also
way longer than I was expecting this
yeah,
team to.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say as well. Like I thought they'd be like third out, and there are 6 teams left, and we started with 13. So that's quite the run. So yeah, but they just didn't have, I think, what it takes together as a team to really get any farther.
Yeah, unfortunately, you lose another team.
I do. I'm down to wait. There's 5 teams left, so I'm down to 4.
And I have one team left. All my racing goals are hanging on Steve and Annalise.
I'm telling you, I think the next 2 legs will be both my teams, and I feel
It'll be
like
what, Joel and Garrett and who?
probably Ashley and Todd. I'm hoping
It's
because I just think
possible.
Rob and Corey, and
I mean, that's a
so
fabulous final three, though. Steve and Annalise, Greg and John, and Rob and Corey. I think it's well rounded. They all have kind of different strengths.
yeah,
Um,
that's
I
my
think
prediction.
that's a good final three, personally. Well, that's it for the episode. Do you have anything else to say about what we watch, what went down, what we're excited for?
No, I mean I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I think it's not even like where I'm certain that it's going to be Todd or Ashley or what are their names again? Joel, the Beard brothers. They're not brothers, but Joel and
Garrett.
Garrett. Um, because sometimes you watch a season where you're like, oh, it's clearly one of these teams next. I don't even necessarily think that. Like we could be totally wrong, and it could be Rob and Corey like that go, or someone makes a big mistake, or something happens. So I do think that overall the top 5 that we have are all in the running potentially to make it to the end. So anything could happen, which is exciting to watch.
Very exciting. Very exciting. It's a great season. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm hoping that the next season will be equally as good, knowing that they're recutting and re-editing a season that was created for 60 minutes. So hopefully it's going to be equally as successful as this one is. So do you have anything going on you'd like to share with the people, Jonathan?
No, nothing at all. Just, relaxing, getting ready for the holidays. Like I hope you all are as well, however you celebrate. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's Thanksgiving weekend for the States
thanks,
people. So it's
thanks,
Black Friday.
Thanksgiving, Black Friday for Americans, Thanksgiving. I mean, Canadians had it last month, and then it's like Christmas season basically, or whatever you celebrate in December. Yeah, so I'm just trying to get through November. Like, let's be honest, we're trying to get through November to,
It's done next week. So
thank goodness.
thank goodness. We're into Sagittarius season, which is also really fun. But if you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. Thank you, everybody here in the chat. You guys are super fun. Anytime we come on, even if it's in random times of the day, you're always here to support, and we very much appreciate it. Please let us know, though, who do you think is going to be out next? Who do you want to win? Just give us your tea on to how you think the race is going. What do you think of Rob and Corey's audition tape? Do you think that they deserve to get cast? Give us some more thoughts on and opinions on that video. And I guess we'll see each other sometimes next week. Yeah, next week will be fine. It'll be the week after. Might be a little difficult because I'll be in New Orleans. But anyways, see you later.